Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
If you love the Selling from the Heart podcast, then you know how much we value authentic leadership and building relationships with heart. But here's the thing. Great leadership doesn't stop with sales. It starts at the top with CEOs who inspire trust, create meaningful cultures, and lead with purpose.
That's why we're excited to invite you to get involved with the Culture from the Heart podcast. On Culture from the Heart, we celebrate CEOs who are transforming their companies by putting people first. And we're asking you to help us find them.
Do you work for an incredible leader? Know a CEO who builds culture from the heart? Nominate them to be interviewed on the show. Together, let's spotlight the leaders who make businesses thrive by leading authentically.
So head over to cultureFromTheHeart.com to submit your nomination today. Because when leadership starts with the heart, culture and success follow. Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Oh, hey, not too much since the last time I saw you. And Darrell and I, we talk all the time, but we like seeing each other. So we got a chance to hang out. It's always great seeing my buddy, Darrell.
I know. Last time I saw you was in the airport. Here we are in the studio today. This is going to be an incredible conversation. Just wait to meet our friend Raya. This is going to be a lot of fun. The community is fantastic here at Selling from the Heart. And we got to see some folks in person, not just each other, but some folks this week. And I just love the relationships that are forming with this group of sales professionals that say, I'm in on this. I believe in authenticity. I believe in building trust. Selling from the Heart. It's such a blast getting to know like-hearted sales professionals all over the country and all over the world.
You know, absolutely. So I'm going to give a shout out to somebody who you know really well. I'm get to know, but you know this person really well. I know this person listens to the podcasts, both our podcasts, and shares frequently. Dee Brown is one great
Yes.
heart-centered person. I'm right, Darrell, correct?
I cannot agree with that more. Dee is my coach inside the C12 peer group. Fantastic guy, stand-up sales professional as well. And Dee, we really appreciate you here at Selling from the Heart. Well, we've got a great guest today. Her name is Raya Chisesi. She is the author of Inside Voice, a book that blends practical experience with academic insight to show sellers how to lead with clarity, empathy, and confidence, even when they're miles away from their clients. Raya's work empowers salespeople to not only be heard, but to truly connect in today's virtual landscape where trust and authenticity matter more than ever. Her passion, it's crystal clear, helping sellers use their voice to stand out, build relationships, and succeed at a deeper level. And she's here to help us do that today. Raya, welcome to Selling from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
Hello. Thank you so much. What a great introduction.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. It's all good.
It sure is. We're excited about this conversation. And you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers. That is, what does it mean to you when you hear the word selling from the heart?
What a good question. I love that you ask everybody this. Selling from the heart to me means having a passion for the product or service that you are selling. I think when you're passionate about it, it comes across in your voice, in your tone, in your words. And let's just be honest, like your energy is contagious. And I feel like your customer will also feel that passion and the excitement for what you're selling for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is so good. So let's unpack, by the way, we're going to have a really terrific conversation here today, but I want to get back to this word passionate. So let's just unpack this. So what's this mean to you? I'm just curious, this passionate selling and all that, what's that look like?
Yeah, I think it's just having an interest in your product. I do say, like, Sometimes I wish I sold toilets. And I know I'm being naive to like people who sell toilets. It might be complex, but big companies that sell complex solutions, complex, like full packages of products and services, they
Uh-huh.
need a sales force, right? They need they need the human behind it to explain everything. And I think that when you are excited about the product and the service, then you're just naturally excited to share with other people that need that product or service. And so the passion, kind of happens in either like, where you want to get into sales. You're like, I want to sell this or do this. Or maybe it happens like when you're in training, right? Like you are first, salesperson in this company and they're telling you about the product and the services that you're going to be offering. Like pick those stories that resonate with you and pick those things that you're like, I can say that in my own voice to a customer to be more authentic.
I like that. I like that. Larry and I were working with a group of salespeople this last week and talking about this thing. And coincidentally, by the way, Raya, they were a group of salespeople that sell plumbing supplies.
Oh my gosh.
So Raya, that's
True
why
story.
Darrell and I knew. It was like, were you
so
watching us last week? It's like, come on.
Yeah. So what's cool
No
though.
hard feelings.
No, not at all.
No,
Absolutely.
zero.
There's a sales role for everything.
Yeah.
And so, but it's interesting. We were talking about like what are the things that we can control as sales professionals, and obviously we can manage our time. But the other thing I think that we overlook is managing our energy and the energy that we bring to the room. And I know in the world of today, where so many of our interactions are virtual, so many over Teams, over Zoom, and all of this, I think it's a big challenge to be able to communicate energy over a virtual platform. Or let me say, it's easy to not bring energy to a virtual platform. And I'm curious your perspective on this, especially as we start to peel back some of the themes in your book and the things you're passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. So you can get stuck in the rut, especially if you're in a routine, being on the inside, you're picking up the phone, you're responding to emails. How are you going to be memorable? And what makes you different when they pick up the phone? You're taking their time and their energy. So, it better have a good conversation. So I'll give an example. I used to sell curriculum. And I would call on my customers and it would always be the same routine. Yeah, thanks. I'm interested in biology. Send me a sample. Bye. And then we'd send the sample. But I just wanted to be more memorable and give them something to actionably do. So I would say, hey, I will send you this biology sample. When you get it, go to page 141 and look at this case study and how interesting this is going to be to study with your students and get your students excited about possible job opportunities they can have from learning in this biology book. And then it gives them something to do. I'm memorable, like, oh yeah, I should, I got this sample, I'd go to this book. And then it's also a chance for me to call them back and not just say, I'm following up. It's, hey, what did you think of that case study? Oh, I was just as excited about that. Wasn't that so interesting about XYZ? And then you just start that conversation and it goes more naturally and more excited. They're the biology teacher, but you're the one bringing the excitement about your specific product.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Raya, where'd you pick up on all of this? Because that example, that's just a model example, but somewhere along the way, I know you learned this somewhere, but why is this so important in bringing what you just said to the surface, especially for those that are in inside sales that are playing that role that you just shared? I mean, walk us through this.
Okay, it's a plug for you, Larry Levine. I think you were leading me up to that.
No.
So a long time ago, you actually joined our group, and we were a group of salespeople. And actually, I think I was the only inside sales in that book study, Selling from the Heart. We all read it together. You joined us. It was so wonderful. I learned a lot from that. But I think, what I learned the most is just that I truly want them to have the best product and service available to them. And unfortunately, sometimes we're just like handed a catalog of our offerings and services. And it's like, go sell this. And that's when I just started like asking and learning, where's the heart in it? Where's the authenticity? Where is, it's not just about the quota and reaching that, it's about solving for a solution. And so I think I learned it, reading your book and having those discussions with, my fellow counterparts in the sales world about, well, what do you like about the biology book? Maybe I can share your example.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's beautiful. Speaking of books, hey, congratulations on Inside Voice. It is your first book, and I'm probably the first of many, I suspect, not to put you on the spot. But hey, I'm excited about this book because you're giving a voice to inside sales. So give us a flyover, an overview of your heart behind this book and what you expect people are going to get out of it.
Yeah. So inside sales means you work virtually, right? There's the field or the outside, and then there's the inside. So just for terminology, a lot of people had some questions about that when I first released, like, what's the inside? I'm like, it's a play on words. We're the inside. But we, on the inside, I worked with so many wonderful professional people that had amazing systems in place, really cared about their customers, really cared about their number. And I was just like, I just loved that team, right? That's where my heart was. It was in the inside sales. And then what happened is COVID hit. And a lot of the people that I worked in the field were calling inside going, how do I do this? How do I make connections with people over the phone? How do I get them on a Zoom call? How do I share these conversations? It feels so foreign to me. And I started writing tips and tricks down on working virtually. And they were like, you should write a book. So that's where this book came from. It started from, I feel like an outsider sometimes because inside sales, they usually have smaller quotas and compared to the, large company. But they are hustlers. They make a lot of calls and they have so much experience and so much to share. And because they talk with a lot more customers per day, you bet they know the company's pain points. They know what's working, what's not working. And so I'm like, inside sales, lift up your voice, like speak. You have so much to share about pros and cons in the company, what the customer's looking for just based on your experience. And so it's more like a confidence boost and some tips and tricks.
Oh, this is good because I've always said we're big believers. So this is a play on your book as well. We're just big believers that this is an inside-outside world anyway. The more you do the inner work, the greater success you'll have on the outer side. So I just had to I had to plug that one in there a little bit. But what are you learning as you're bringing your book to life? Because I agree with this is outside salespeople can learn so much from inside salespeople as far as how to connect and how to relate that are two words near and dear to me. So what are some other tips that you can give outside sales professionals that would help them better connect when they're having some of these conversations in this virtual world?
Well, first, call your inside person if you have one, because I feel like that's kind of where my story started. I had a great field rep that was willing to partner with me, and we were in the same territory. And we just worked so well. Like he would do some drop-offs for me and I would do some, cleanup, computer work for him. And I feel like it was a wonderful partnership. But if you don't have both, it's just that open communication and just being able to connect and not be scared to try new things, right? Like if you are always used to seeing somebody face to face, there's some really cool tools out there. I talk about like utilizing all the tools that are available. So I think there was something like called co-video or something where it was like you take a little snap video of you saying hi to your customer, and then it was like sending it to them in an email. Like how eye-catching is that? Like I want to talk to this person. Or just using things like podcasts or hopping on a webinar. I think just using all the tools that are at your fingertips when you are working virtually to get into that door. And then, the sales starts from there, and it's all about the energy and the positivity you bring.
Hmm. One of the things, obviously, that's the anchor for the trust formula we talk about here so much: authentic relationships plus meaningful value multiplied by what? Inspirational experience and disciplined habits is the authentic relationship. And when you're face to face with somebody, actually there physically, building a relationship in a lot of ways comes naturally to people. But it seems like when we get into a virtual environment, that a lot of folks really do struggle to build authentic relationships, to show up authentically and to build a relationship in a virtual world. Coach us, if you would, on what you've seen that's working really well to build relationship if you're engaging over virtual communication methods like we do so often.
Yeah, definitely. Well, once you have them on the phone or virtually, it's all about listening. And I think we talk about this, whether you're in person or virtually, just listen to your customers. Sometimes virtually, that can be a little uncomfortable. You need to sit and be quiet for a minute. Let them answer the question, be patient, and, listen for things like background noise or distractions that might be on their end if you caught them at a bad time and, trying to reschedule. I think just having, virtual etiquette is really important. But I think one of the hardest things is getting the customer on the line when you don't have like an appointment in person or, set up virtually, even though this is kind of normal for us now, this Zoom world. But, just listening to the customer or trying to get engagement with them is all about knowing them. So I set up Google alerts for all of my customers. And I would get something, if I was working with a school, it'd be like their softball team won their tournament, or the principal was recognized for, principal of the year or something. Or I would hear a podcast based on our last conversation and I would send it to them and be like, thinking of you, like this would be a really cool resource for you to take a look at. Always providing value, saying congratulations to your softball team. It gets that relationship going, that you know them and you have an interest in their life and their success in their role.
Hey, I'm gonna flip the script on this, and I want you to speak to all the outside salespeople that are highly relational, that are, by all means, right? I have to see these people, right? I have to walk into their office, right? I have to see them face to face. We're all for that.
Yes.
They're going to go, I just can't do this virtual thing. I just can't make it happen, for insert whatever excuse they're going to have. Speak to those outside sales professionals just for a moment that says, you know what, there's a way that you can actually enhance the relationship sometimes by being behind the screen.
Yeah. Honestly, if that is their mentality, they're just thinking about themselves. They're thinking about their own shortcomings, or they're thinking about their way of doing things. And you just need to be more open. And I know it's hard to say, but sometimes it's more convenient for your customer not to show up at their door, right? So like, has anybody shown up at your house and you're in your pajamas? Like you're not really wanted. You're not really wanting to talk right now. And sometimes that can happen when you're just driving and doing drop-offs, or I need to be in that person's office. Sometimes they just need some information, and that can happen quicker over an email or a Zoom call. And that's still providing value. You're providing them timeshare. I think there's a time and place for everything. Not to say that those virtual connections aren't going to lead to I really want to talk to you in person, like come to my office now. It's like, it's getting them to have the same kind of buy-in as you.
Yeah. Earlier you were talking about the relationship between teams that have outside and inside sales functions that work in concert to sell and support clients. What advice would you give to how have you seen that work well? Where have you seen that fall apart? And what advice would you give to people who are in that dynamic, either on the inside sales team supporting an outside rep or an outside rep working? What advice would you give to that setup?
I would say set up a cadence with them. It could be bi-weekly or monthly just to check in, because you don't realize how much crosswork you're actually doing.
Mhm.
And everybody has their own skill set. So I found that my field rep had a lot of great relationships within the territory from living there for so long. And then I had 10 years of selling under my belt for this company. And so I knew all the ins and outs in our products and our services and the ways to do things. Well, when we blended that, we were unstoppable. He, would give me tips and tricks on like, oh, there's this new policy coming. And I would say, oh, this product would be great for that new policy. And if we didn't have that weekly cadence with each other, I think it would have overlapped each other. He would have known something, I would have known something, and never brought them together. And I think that really made us competitive in the field with both of our accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Raya, continue down this weekly cadence and describe what that looks like. Is it 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes? Walk us through this, because I want all outside and inside people to hear this. This is something that's really cool. Is walk us through what the strategy behind this weekly cadence, and the length of time, and what's the outcome of all of this.
Yes. So originally I scheduled 30 minutes and we'd always go over, which means we were having great conversations, right? So at first it was just scheduled 30 minutes. We would talk about our customers, what was going on that week. But also because we shared a territory, we did a lot of business planning together. So, yearly we would need to talk to our VP of our region and give them our projections of what's our SWOT analysis? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What opportunities do we have? And by working on that together, we had this very comprehensive territory map of what we were going to do this quarter, this year. And it built that excitement, because then they can see us both meeting our numbers, but also, both working together and have interest in both each other's success. And I think that's also selling from the heart, is helping your coworkers. These are the people you spend most of your time with. And so just supporting them. So cadence, 30 minutes might not be enough, but if you are just kind of checking in, you have your agenda, we're going to cover these things, just get it on the calendar to start.
I love it. I love it. That is incredibly powerful advice, that if you're working together inside and outside, absolutely weekly, like, and I love that idea, that quarterly kind of strategy going, okay, let's map this thing out together. Well, what a powerful conversation. Raya, what else would you say to our friends who are on the inside listening to this and are saying, man, what advice would you give to our friends who are in inside sales you haven't shared so far?
Okay, two things. I'll see two things in there. One, if you don't have a sales advisory committee that incorporates both an outside and an inside team, and maybe some others, develop one. Because like I was saying before, like the field hears things and the inside sales hears different things, and being able to be on a sales advisory committee of what's going well, what have they been hearing from the customers that they've been loving or struggling with. And I think by doing that, it gives both the inside and the outside the power to go to leadership with these types of examples. So one, start a sales advisory committee if you don't already have one. And two, when you're on the inside, I would just say celebrate everything. I am a big proponent of celebrating all of the small wins, the big ones. If you had a great power hour where you called and you made great connections, and at the end of that, just high five your dog if you're working from home. My dog's my best buddy. Just celebrate those things. And then, as you're celebrating, as you're helping customers, you're working for, with your heart too. When that big numbers hit, when you meet your quota and you're so excited, celebrate that big win too, because next year it starts all over again. And I feel like it can be pretty defeating if you're like, and then they're going to want more and more. We're always striving for more. And there's good in that, but also be proud of yourself and celebrate all the big and little wins that you have on the inside.
Hey, I just got to zero back in on something before we wrap up. This has been a wonderful time together. Thanks for hanging out with us. I got to zero back to this sales advisory council, because where'd all this come from? Because I think, hey, listeners, this is golden stuff here, this sales advisory council stuff. What was the mastermind? What's the thought process behind all this, and how did it start? I'm just curious real quick.
Yeah, actually, it was somebody at my company, and I kind of invite myself to the table all the time. Like, I just kind of knock, like, I know I'm on the inside, but can I come in? And there was a sales advisory committee that I heard of, and I'm like, where's the inside representation, And so that I was able that year, it's a whole year where it's the same sales advisory committee, and then it changes every year, and you can get nominated for it by your management. But it was something we did at our company, and I loved it because once we kind of got on the phone, it can turn into kind of like a little complaint session, right? Like, okay, this is what I'm struggling with. We're all in working from home or in the field, but we're all hearing each other. And then what's so great is because it's an advisory committee, it's like we took all of that and did something with it, right? You can't complain without having a solution. And so we wrote it all down. We were able to propose it to our managers, and we solved a lot of salespeople's pain points, and it just made them happier in the role. And to circle back to the very beginning, if you're happy, you're excited about what you and your company and your fellow coworkers are doing, it'll show.
So good. What an amazing conversation. Give us one more teaser about this book. We want to hear about this. This is something that'll be in the show notes. All of our folks are going to get. If you could say anything to this worldwide audience of sales professionals about the book, what would you say?
Yes, it's called Inside Voice, Empower Your Voice for Sales Success. I do have it here.
Yeah.
And it's all about inside. First, it starts with we are the outsiders being on the inside, how to use your inside voice, how to use all your inside resources at your fingertips, inviting your customers inside. That's really listening to them, being in control of inside your control, knowing what you can and cannot control. Inside your environment, this is great for people who are working from home, how to set up your day for success as an inside rep. And then it ends with inside your heart. And that's, probably just from the selling from the heart. Like, what is inside your heart? What do you want to be part of? You want to be something great, and then use your outside voice to celebrate.
This is good stuff. Right on.
Good. So good. Hey, Raya, thank you for taking the time to put this book together. This is a true gift to the sales profession. We're cheering you on. Thanks for investing with us today. You really are a champion of selling from the heart and a true inspiration.
Thank you. You both are. This is wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity to chat.
I love it. Wonderful. What a just delightful conversation, and so many great ideas to take, whether you're on the outside, on the inside. But the reality is we're all in the inside because we're communicating virtually in front of a screen, over the phone, Slack, Zoom, Slack. I mean, there's so many ways to communicate now virtually, and we've got to get really good at it. And I want to encourage everybody to go not only grab a copy of Raya's book, but let's cheer her on. Let's leave her a review and share it as well on social. This is an incredibly important message for the sales community.
Yeah, there's one word that just sums all this up, and that's alignment. Is, outside and inside, you got to align together. Though I never, in my whole sales career, I never had an inside role. It was all outside anyway. But, this whole entire conversation with Raya just shed some light on the importance of you need to have internal and outside alignment. Your inside and your outside salespeople got to be on the same page, and because you all are rowing the boat in the same direction.
100%. 100%. So, hey, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for listening and investing in yourself. If you made it this far in the show, I know you're someone that values investing in yourself. Our commitment to you is to make investments every week. We're working to bring you great gifts, great insights, great action items to help you thrive as a sales professional.
Absolutely. And like we've always said, is this whole movement of selling from the heart doesn't happen without out this community. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking action. And thank you for sharing this message.
We appreciate you. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, use your inside voice, and most of all,
Sell from the heart.